What's up? What's up?
What's up, YouTube family?
All right, YouTube. We have the world has shifted. Rapper Zuby fights against wokeism.
Yes.
So I guess he has been canceled because of his
something that
lyrics.
social media didn't like, and they said, "Hey, we're gonna put you on punishment for a while."
Like, really?
Yeah, really.
Cancel yourself, dude. Like, if you got a problem with everybody else.
Zuby.
Yeah.
All right,
let's get started. I see you
it.
ready to get it started.
I am. I'm sorry. I was just like, okay.
Press play and everything.
Yeah, I'll press play. All right, let's do it.
Now, Zuby is a British rapper, author, public speaker, coach, and host of the weekly podcast Real Talk with Zuby. But best of all, Zuby can't stand the crazy world of wokeness, and this fuels much of his creativity. Zuby was cancelled, of course, naturally, for some comment on Twitter, but he fought back through his music and his lyrics. His latest album is called Word of Zuby and includes the hit single OK Dude, which begins, well, with a bit of an amusing intro from podcaster Joe Rogan about how and why Zuby found himself being cancelled by the woke lynch mobs. Have a listen.
Zuby got deplatformed. He got kicked off of Twitter. This is crazy. Zuby is a musician. He's a rapper from the UK who's been on the podcast before. I mean, the dude doesn't even swear. And someone said, "I bet I sleep with more women than you do," to which he writes, "Okay, dude." And they decided by him saying, "Okay, dude,"
okay,
that is grounds for being banned from Twitter temporarily.
Oh, you don't like my style?
Okay, dude.
Oh, you don't like my lyrics?
Okay, dude.
Oh, you don't like my politics?
Okay, dude.
Do you even know what knowledge is?
Okay, dude.
Oh, now they want to mention me.
Okay, dude.
So now they want to censor me.
Okay, dude.
Back in
okay,
2019, Zuby had already earned the ire of the woke left when he predicted what would happen in the world of women's sports thanks to all the transgender lunacy. So he chose as a gag to identify as a woman and then smashed all the female deadlift and power bench records. That stunt saw him appear on Tucker Carlson and the Ben Shapiro shows and made him a darling of conservatives. Not surprising, really. Have a listen to these great lyrics from OK Dude, which mercilessly mock woke ideology.
Please. Break it.
They say be open-minded, but they tell you how to live. That's how you ended up with drag queens reading to your kids. My soul cannot be bought, and what I'm speaking is the truth. And I won't silence every thought while they indoctrinate the youth. I think socialism sucks and every government is shady. I'm not down with open borders, I'm not cool with killing babies. There aren't infinite genders, and a man can't be a lady. And you know that it's the truth, so why you looking at me crazy? I'm tired of your isms, I'm bored of all your phobias. I am not a bigot just cause I don't smoke with smoking ya. Shame and calling names the only thing you can invoke. But we can talk about the system if you really think you're woke.
Right?
Conservatism can be cool. Now, I've always said that the way to fight the left, the way to defeat the tyranny of cancel culture and the stifling intolerance of wokeness is through creativity. Conservatives can be the new cool. It's woke that's the joke. Just like the punks rebelled against the ghastly conformity and turgid self-indulgence of 70s progressive rock, and before them the hippie kids rebelled against the establishment, today it is wokeness that is the establishment. And kids today, I am sure, must be fed up with it, and they're going to start rebelling against all the ghastliness of this oppressive and intolerant ideology being preached at them endlessly, day in and day out in the classroom. They'll rebel by becoming conservative. I'm delighted to say rapper Zuby joins me now. Zuby, great to see you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Rowan. How are you?
I love your music. I'm very well, thank you. Now, your music is terrific, but what's just as terrific are your politics, but also your story. You are the embodiment of the individual who set out to make it on your own. There's no record company, there's no PR, there's no spin. It's you, it's Zuby. Tell us how you did it.
Yeah, sure thing. So let's go back a little bit. So I was born in England, grew up in Saudi Arabia. I studied at Oxford University. typical origin story for a rapper, of course. I did computer science there. And actually, when I was there, I released my very first album when I was 19 years old. It was called Commercial Underground. So I started rapping just as a hobby to begin with, and then started taking it more and more seriously, and started to build up a little following over there in the UK, primarily in the city of Oxford to begin with. I used to sell my CDs on the street. I did that for many years. I've been a full-time musician since 2011 now. But I really built up my name initially in the UK by just traveling all over the country and selling tens of thousands of albums hand to hand directly out of my backpack. Eventually, I started doing pop-up shops in different shopping centers all over the country. I did that primarily from about 2014 to 2018. And then in 2019, I had some posts go viral online, which introduced millions of new people, not just to my music, but also to me as a person. It's also when I started my podcast, Real Talk with Zuby. I wrote and released my first fitness book called Strong Advice. And it's the same year I appeared on Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, Tucker Carlson, and many other famous programs, primarily in the USA, but also in the UK and worldwide. So ever since then, ever since that flashpoint in 2019, my audience has grown much, much larger, become a lot more international. And people know me for many things, both within and outside of my music.
Well, Zuby, I love the fact that you're true to yourself, which is fantastic. A couple of things that I particularly like. I love rock music. I love some rap music. I was a big fan of Eminem. But something you've picked on, I've always struggled with the profanities within a lot of the rap music and the gangster rap and all that stuff. You make a virtue, that's a horrible word, sorry, I'll choose another one, but you actually go out and proudly state you do your rap music without profanities, which I think is fantastic, and you make it part of your lyrics. I also love the fact, and you had me here, Zuby, where you made a gag about the Beatles and how you had the Beatles working in the back room, which was a terrific gag in one of your songs. So you had me there. So tell us about the profanities and tell us about your musical influences.
Yeah, it's really simple, Rowan. I mean, I don't swear in my day-to-day life. It's just how I was raised. I was raised in a family and in a household that doesn't use profanity. My parents don't swear, my siblings don't, and I don't as a result. And because that's who I am and that's how I behave in the real world, that's what I represent in my music. I'm not one of those artists who puts on a costume or a disguise and becomes a totally different person when I'm on stage or when I'm in the recording studio or anything like that. I'm myself all the way through. So that's just a reflection of who I am, like all my music is. In terms of my influences, you mentioned Eminem. He's I'm a big Eminem fan. I'm a big fan of Jay-Z, Nas, Tupac. I like Tech Nine, especially what he's done as an independent rapper. That's been very inspirational to me. So there's many different artists that I like. I'd say those are some of the top ones. But I'm influenced both by musicians, but also just by the world and by my life, my aspirations, things that I see, things that I witness. As you've probably observed, I do a lot of what people could call social or cultural commentary. I've traveled to, I think, about 38 different countries at this point, lived in different places, many different cities, different countries, and it's just given me a perspective on the world that I like to share with people, both within and outside of my music.
And what I love about that perspective, Zuby, is you are clearly, we hate labels, but there is a conservative, anti-socialist, a strong political point of view running through many of your lyrics. Answer my question, or what I'm claiming, can conservatism be cool? What's your experience?
Yeah, of course it can be. I mean, as you've alluded to earlier, one thing that's happened that's really strange is during the time that I've been doing music, I've been making music now for about 16 years at this point. And when I started out making music, for many of the things you've mentioned, a lot of people thought that the notion that I was any type of controversial was hilarious, right? People thought, oh, like this is too milquetoast, right? The fact that I don't swear, the fact that I'm not talking about certain things and so on. But the world has shifted so much, at least the Western world, in just 15 or 16 years, that someone like myself is now deemed controversial to a lot of people. Despite the fact that, I'm very far from radical on anything. A lot of what I say and what I put out there, I think would have been considered common sense just 10 years ago. And now oftentimes it's labeled as, conservative, or someone might even say, oh, this guy's a right-wing rapper or something like that. And that's not, my content is not different to what I was doing in 2006 or in 2010 or in 2015. But the world has just shifted in all these strange directions, and I've commented on that. And to some people, that's now going against the grain. It's become something that's more countercultural because what people expect has become very predictable and limited, and in fact quite degenerate in many aspects. And I think just not being someone who virtue signals, but being someone who tries to be genuinely virtuous and just stand on my principles and stand on who I am and what I believe in, that's authentic. And I think, to answer your question, I think authenticity is always cool. I think people value authenticity, whether they fully agree with you or not. If you're honest and you're true and you're not willing to just go along with the flow and go along with the mob for the sake of popularity or having an easier life, then I think that most people respect that.
Oh, yeah.
Zuby, I've really enjoyed your comments and your music. I think it's terrific. Where can people get more of your music? Maybe buy it even? We always like a bit of private enterprise. Tell us about where
it's all appreciated. Yeah, the best place is teamzuby.com, teamzuby.com. And you can also get my music digitally on all the usual platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, and so on. Just search my name, Zuby, and you will find me.
Zuby, thanks so much for coming on The World According to Rowan Dean.
Okay, it's pretty good, man.
Wow, that's very
man. The thing is like you can't tell the truth no more. You got to sit there and just.
I mean, and
have this imagination of everything you got that the other people are doing is right. You know,
what you're doing is wrong.
Everything. It's like you can't tell the truth no more.
But he's not hiding his background. That's what I like too. I mean, yes, he's educated, but at the same time, he's keeping it real in the music, and it does not have to take all that profanity. I mean. We listen to rap. I used to listen to a lot of rap growing up, and even when I work out, I like to have my little hype music. And if it have a few curse words in it, I'm like, oh my god, I'll still listen to it. So I'm not judging or bashing rappers for that. It's just that you are getting to the point where you want to see more positive, rap. I mean, for me anyway, I enjoy rap, but it's just difficult to not have to listen to. Cursing and swearing and calling women bees and using the N-word so much. It's just hard to find music that doesn't have that.
I like to listen to things that's going to build me up.
Yeah.
So tear me down.
Of course. So that's my thing too.
Tear my
just
down.
Want to be built up.
Yeah.
But regardless of what's going on in the world, why do you have to conform to what's going on in the world? And I like how he doesn't just do that. So his level of understanding is okay. He's open to seeing what's going on in the world, but at the same time, he's not going to change because that has changed in the last 5 and 10 years. You want to stay honest and true to what you know is right or what you know is wrong. I mentioned something earlier when we were in the gym working out. I was like, look, just because stuff is so expensive, does that give me a right to have to go in the grocery store and just steal food? No. It's still wrong regardless of the price. Hey, I may not be able to get it right now. That's just my simple take on that. But I enjoyed that. The world has shifted.